The Unmoored 2025. Strategic Analysis and Global Affairs. International Politics, Geopolitics, Security and Strategic Issues. A Comprehensive Annual Review. By Dr. Naim Tahir Baig, Distinguished Scholar of International Relations, and author of over 100 internationally published books on international relations, security and strategic studies. Other works by the author include The Caracas Gambit 2026, The Indo-Pacific Inflection Point, Desert Opportunism 2025, Putin's Geopolitical Influence 2025, Color Wars in 2025, and The Solution of Gaza by Trump 2025. Chapter 1. The Year the Old Order Cracked. 2025 marks a watershed moment in global affairs. Trump's return accelerates the United States' withdrawal from multilateral frameworks. Liberation Day tariffs trigger the largest trade war since 1946. Multiple wars rage without resolution, in Ukraine, Gaza, and Sudan. Nuclear risks are elevated across South Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. And international institutions prove paralyzed and ineffective. Chapter 2. America Unchained. Trump's muscular foreign policy transformation. The United States withdraws from the World Health Organization and the Paris Climate Accord. A new national security strategy rejects liberal internationalism. Trump hosts more than 40 foreign leaders for transactional deal-making. The Alaska summit with Putin bypasses European allies entirely. And Washington threatens NATO commitments, while demanding greater burden sharing. Chapter 3. Liberation Day and Economic Warfare. The average U.S. tariff rate reaches 16.8%, the highest since 1946. Tariffs of 145% are imposed on Chinese goods, with a 10% baseline on all imports. Stock markets plunge 12.4%, the worst decline since COVID. $264 billion is collected in customs duties. China retaliates with rare earth export controls. And global economic decoupling accelerates despite widespread economic pain. Chapter 4. Ukraine, Year 4 of Attrition. Russia suffers an estimated 420,000 casualties for just 0.8% territorial gain. Total casualties exceed 1 million on the Russian side, and 400,000 on the Ukrainian side. Istanbul talks resume, but yield no breakthrough. Ukrainian drone strikes hit deep into Russian territory. The Trump-Putin summit seeks a settlement without Europe at the table. And nuclear rhetoric intensifies as the conventional war grinds on. Chapter 5. Israel's expanding wars. More than 70,000 Palestinians are killed, making this one of the deadliest modern conflicts. The United States directly participates in strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. Israeli operations expand across Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, and Yemen. Over 900 military operations are conducted in southern Syria alone. International court rulings are ignored by all parties. And regional power dynamics are fundamentally altered. Chapter 6. Sudan and the Forgotten Wars. An estimated 400,000 people are dead in Sudan, the world's worst humanitarian crisis. 11 million are displaced, with minimal international engagement. Myanmar's civil war continues with no resolution in sight. Cambodia-Thailand border clashes erupt, the worst in decades. Conflicts in the Democratic Republic of Congo persist despite a Trump-brokered ceasefire. The international community fails to stop mass atrocities. Chapter 7. Nuclear brinkmanship in South Asia. A 5-day war tests the nuclear deterrence framework. The Pahalgam terrorist attack kills 26 people and triggers India's Operation Sindoor. The conflict sees the first aerial combat between Chinese-made J-10C fighters and French-built Rafales. Both sides mobilize nuclear forces operationally. A US-brokered ceasefire prevents further escalation. The crisis reveals the fragility of South Asian nuclear stability. Chapter 8. China's strategic calculus. A rising power navigates American unpredictability. Beijing accelerates its military buildup targeting Taiwan. It responds to US tariffs with rare earth restrictions. China expands BRICS influence as an alternative to the G7. It pursues technological self-sufficiency despite sanctions. And it positions itself as a mediator in multiple regional conflicts. Chapter 9. Europe's strategic autonomy dilemma. Europe is caught between American unreliability and the Russian threat. European nations debate an independent nuclear deterrent. They struggle with defense spending versus budget constraints. Europe faces US tariffs while still depending on NATO protection. Leaders question whether to develop true strategic autonomy. And they are alarmed by Trump-Putin negotiations that bypass the European Union entirely. Chapter 10. The Rise of the Global South. Middle powers refuse to choose sides. Turkey, India, and Saudi Arabia pursue multi-alignment strategies. Brazil under Lula positions itself as a neutral mediator. BRICS expansion challenges G7 dominance. Global South nations support Palestinian statehood and the ICJ case against Israel. And they leverage great power competition for national advantage. Chapter 11. The AI Race. DeepSeek's breakthrough challenges US technological supremacy. Chinese artificial intelligence achieves GPT-4 level performance for $6 million versus $100 million. Export controls spur innovation rather than prevent it. Trump calls it a wake-up call for Silicon Valley. Analysts question the effectiveness of the small yard high fence strategy. And technology competition intensifies across multiple domains. Chapter 12. Cyber operations and information warfare. A new domain of strategic competition emerges. Critical infrastructure attacks proliferate globally. Disinformation campaigns undermine democratic processes. AI-generated content blurs the line between truth and falsehood. Cyber threats endanger command and control of nuclear systems. And no international norms or governance mechanisms exist to manage this domain. Chapter 13. Climate, Resources, and Geopolitics. Environmental stress compounds geopolitical fragmentation. The U.S. Paris Accord withdrawal undermines global climate cooperation. Competition for rare earth minerals intensifies. Water scarcity exacerbates regional conflicts. The energy transition is weaponized in great power rivalry. And climate refugees strain borders and fuel nationalism. Chapter 14. The Erosion of International Law. The post-1945 architecture proves paralyzed. The UN Security Council is blocked on every major crisis. International courts issue unenforceable rulings. The World Trade Organization is sidelined as trade wars violate all rules. Treaty obligations are abrogated unilaterally. And the gap between legal rhetoric and actual state behavior widens. Chapter 15. Scenarios for the international system. Alternative futures for global order. Managed multipolarity through a new concert of powers. Regional fragmentation into competing blocs. Catastrophic escalation leading to major war. Muddled persistence of current instability. The policy choices made today will shape which future emerges. Key themes of 2025. 1. The return of great power confrontation. 2. The weaponization of economic interdependence. 3. Wars without end. 4. Technology as a strategic accelerant. 5. The erosion of multilateral institutions. 6. Elevated nuclear risks. The world has become unmoored. Where it drifts remains uncertain, but the anchors that once provided stability are gone. Dr. Naim Tahir Baig.